B, and this is my buzz. I'm always excited when former students come back and say hello or sing for me, and I'm so thrilled to have a young man with me today that was in my studio 10 years ago and is now in New York City. This is Kareem Elsamadicy. So I want you to meet him, and he's got some interesting things to share with you. He's really done some entrepreneurial things that are so interesting, and I want him to talk about that first.
Okay. Well, yeah, hi, my name is Kareem Elsamadicy, and I think one of the projects I was talking to Dr. Beasley about recently was a music video project that I did when I was a part of International House up in New York. And they gave us a $10,000 grant to do a music education project in Egypt. So we targeted the 3 minority cultures in Egypt, and we did an education and lyric workshop, and they redeveloped the lyrics to a very popular Egyptian song, and they sang it all in their different accents. And
fun.
It was about incorporating like a stronger bond in a culture that was like struggling at the time because of the Arab Spring. So yeah, it was a really great project, and I had my sister along because she's big in education, and yeah, it was wonderful.
So what amazes me, because we have another student that I don't think you knew at the time, Allie Fees, who's in New York City, and she's had to learn to make her own way. I mean, she's doing wonderful things, has developed her own opera company, and is getting reviews in New York Times for being a fabulous director. So I think this is the new age. You're going to have to find a way to make a way.
Yeah. I remember another one of my entrepreneurship projects. I was working for a UN NGO. It's called UCT, International Cultural Development, and we were doing a lot of projects showcasing Chinese calligraphy and Chinese artifacts. And it's funny how I got into that, because I actually started as one of their models for the different for the different artifacts.
Going on.
But later on, she just noticed my organization and asked me to help on a few things. And next thing you know, I was working beside her on 3 big projects, including with Ban Ki-moon's farewell address, and he was the head of the UN. So that was another project that was just, you start innovating, and I got to perform for them as well for one of their songs in Ban Ki-moon's farewell address. It was great.
This is just fabulous. Now, another thing that he's discovered is he's quite an actor. And so he has been doing a lot of acting, and she says we need to move along. So,
well, yeah. So
talk to us about that.
I did classical music with Dr. Beasley, and I went to Vanderbilt for my BA in music. And once I went to New York, I decided to explore musical theater, and that's when I went to NYU for my master's in musical theater. And they introduced me to acting. So from there, I was able to connect with my agent, and she opened the door to a lot of acting opportunities there. So I was able to do an NBC show and 2 Hulu productions, and it's just been it's a whole different world that I didn't think I would be involved in, and I'm just excited to be able to bring that into classical music again.
Yes, because that's really needed, and I think a lot of people are understanding that that's one thing classical music has missed. So, but something happened, because you did a lot of musical theater, and so his comment when he talked with me was, I'd really like to sing again. I'm not using my voice. So talk just, I think briefly, but pointedly about how you felt about that.
I mean, something unique about musical theater is that it does evolve with the pop culture, but as it evolves with the pop culture, it also takes in a lot of the different characteristics. So even though we think of musical theater and most of singing as having a very core sound, which is breath, which is phonation, musical theater has to incorporate so many different styles. And coming in from classical music, where the goal was to just have the healthiest, most resonant voice. Musical theater, you just had to play around with the sound. It wasn't really about singing, it was about phonating with an acting flair, So
that's a good way to say it.
yeah, so I enjoyed it and I appreciated it, but I left it very lost vocally and telling myself, well, where is that core sound that I had before? Because I jumped into so many different styles and so yeah, that's why coming back to classical music, it's redefining that core quality sound and going back to the other forms of arts like acting and musical theater with that healthier core.
So we're going to close this out because I see that this is part one. He's going to be back for a while. He's going back to New York for a job again.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back another time with Kareem and let him sing for you. Thank you so much for joining us today for our buzz.